Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Keight. Today I would like to share with you episode 2 of my Rhino Thanks Series. Let's get started. To kick things off, I am taking all the dots 6x6 paper pad and I am using the outside in stitched rectangle die as well as the outside in stitched circle die by Fawn. And we are just going to line this up and tape it down, and then off camera I will go ahead and cut that out. Now, what I have in store for you guys today is a shaker card. So, yeah, this is actually my second attempt at making it. I wasn't too pleased with the first one that I did, and I decided to remake it, and I'll make sure to show you at the end what that first one looked like. Now, it turned out alright, but I didn't I don't know, there was something about it that I wasn't excited about, so I ended up having to make it over because that's what happens sometimes in my brain. It's like you don't like something, you've got to redo it, and you can't get it out of your head until you redo it. So I'm just taking this Salty Ocean Distress Oxide and I'm going around the edges of my panel here, and then I'll go ahead and take that and bring it around the inside as well, just to give it a little bit of an interest. And once I'm done that, I will go ahead and take some FineTech Iridescent watercolors in the Sapphire blue, and we are going to do a little bit of splatter. Now, again, as most of you know, I no longer have a splatter box. I am currently waiting for a package in the mail, so that way I could probably use a box, though what package I'm not sure. But eventually I will get another one. So next up, we are going to color the rhinos. Now, I initially colored the 3 sets of rhinos that I was going to use in this series, but because I was not impressed with the other card that I made, I decided that I would have to color them again. So I don't remember exactly what colors that I used in those rhinos, as I didn't really pay much mind and didn't feel like digging out my camera or my phone off the tripod to figure out which ones it was that I used, so I just picked these ones. So we've got the BV05, the BO5, not the BV, the BO5, the BO2, the B00, and B18. And I am just touching tip to tip here to give my blend a little bit better of a chance of looking a little more cohesive. Now, I kind of wish I had something between the 2 and the 5, just because I found that there was a bit of a contrast between the 2, and yeah, I've been staring at this for so long, I couldn't quite get it. So I'm just going back and forth with my lightest to darkest kind of thing, and because I didn't really much care for the contrast of the 00 to the 2, I'm just doing tip to tip with the 2 to the 00 and going over that, and then I'll just go over that with the B2 all around together, leaving the head a little bit lighter. And there we go. So I've gone ahead with the 00 again, and now we're going to take the 000 and go over the rhinoceri, the rhinoceros, the rhinoceros, because I can't say the word, the rhino, the rhino horn. And now we're just kind of doing a little bit of the dots. We're going to bring in this R20 to do the ear and the cheeks. And because I like the dots so much, we are going to come back in and do the horn as well. And then once we've done the horn, I'm going to take my Sakura 0.8 Jelly Roll pen here and just give a few little dots and dashes to create a little bit of interest on our little rhinos here. And because I enjoy doing the little dots and dashes so much, sometimes I never know where to put them. We are going to put them with the blue dots today on our little rhinos, because they are stinking cute, and I am so pleased that I picked up this set. Now, if you haven't watched my first episode of this series, I encourage you to go ahead and go back and watch it, because I explain how you can win a Rhino set. The Big Thanks Fawn set. I have all the details in my first video, so I suggest, or I encourage, you go back and watch that one and enter. Yeah. So here we are just taking all of our stitched ABCs that I've cut out of the all the dots paper, and we are lining that up on the yellow panel of Spiffy Speckle. So all I'm doing is inlaying, oh, not inlaying that, but setting that in the background. And then we're going to take the yellow Spiffy Speckle paper, and we've already cut out all the letters for the thanks, and we are going to line these up as best we can around that window. And that's all I'm doing. Now the original one that I did not like the contrast of it, but when I did a quick poll on just a sneak peek between the two cards, I believe it was 81% of you liked the original one. And yeah, I wanted to show how I made the original one, but I didn't like how the video kind of came out. It was kind of a little disorganized, and this one was a little more organized, and this one was a little bit easier to edit, so you're getting the second one. So here I've just cut out a panel of acetate at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I'm going to make sure that that's not two of them in there, which was. And then we're going to take some easy runner tape here in a second, and we're just going to go around my circle here, and we are going to put some adhesive. Now it gets a little tight there at the bottom, so I try to go over it as best as I can, but you see that it's gone over the edge there, and I'm just going to fold that back in. And then I'm going to take the Barely Art Glue that is recently new to my stash and go around the edge. And then we are going to take our piece of acetate that's cut by 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 and just mash that down to create our window. Next up, I have got these adhesive circles. Oh, I can't remember the name of them. I'll have to remember to leave the name of them in the description box below, because that's one of the things that I forgot to write down in my notes as I'm recording this. But I'm just taking this guy, and we are going to go around the window, and that's going to be the barrier for our bits and pieces. Now here we have some Recollections brand micro beads that I'm just plopping in there. I've got them in like an iridescent, and I've got them in the blue. I love these guys for like little noise-making shaker cards. They pack a punch, but not a huge punch, just enough punch. So here I'm taking my second cut of 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 acetate and popping that down, and then I'm going to shake it around a bit, look at it, and then I'm going to take a pair of scissors. These are just my really sharp Cricut scissors, and I'm going to go around and cut some of that acetate down, so this way I have a little bit of room to shove in bits of foam tape, because I want to prop up the edges here around the window. And I didn't really have foam tape that was the same thickness as this, so I had to make do with what I had, and what I had were the little squares that I'd gotten from the dollar store a while ago. These things, I mean, over time it gets a little expensive to buy because I think they're $1 or $2 a piece, and you know, the amount that I use for each shaker card, it kind of gets a little expensive, but you know, given the fact that it's right there down the street for me, and if I need them, all I gotta do is grab them, and I don't have to wait in the mail or go to Michael's, which is farther away, to buy them. They come in handy. So these guys are always good to have on hand in your stash if you need something thinner, or you know, if you just need some foam tape and you don't feel like busting out the big guys. So once I've laid all the foam tape down, all I'm doing is pulling off the backing to each of them and making sure that I've got them all. I try to do them all the same way so I don't miss them, because I've done that before where I've missed one of the backings and then my project is complete and then I realize, oh, sugar, I missed one. So again, I am not very careful with laying this stuff down, so I didn't want it to poke out of the window, and I just scraped that down a little bit with my finger to keep that out of the viewfinder here. And then again, with the Barely Art Glue, we are going to go around the edge, and then we're going to put some onto the foam. I mean, they are quite sticky, but I like to double stick everything because, you know, some people like to keep their cards, and I want the cards to last. Some people don't, some people throw them out, and that's okay. So I've gone ahead and mounted that on my Spiffy Speckles yellow panel, and we have the thank you done. Next up, we've got our cute little rhinos that we are just going to add a little bit of the Barely art glue onto the back. Now, I thought about propping them up with some foam tape, but because this is a shaker and it's got enough dimension for me as far as, you know, shakers go, I'm just going to glue these guys down and set them off to the side. So we've got the thank you with the two rhinos. So that's like me and you just hanging out, and I'm quite grateful for you guys being here. And that's why I am doing this thank you series. So next up, we have got a little bit of Wink of Stella, and we are going to go around the yellow thanks here just to give it a little extra interest. Now, I've gone ahead off to the side here. You see me pulling off to the side and dipping my brush away. You can't see me dipping my brush away, but I don't like to squeeze the Wink of Stella while I'm playing on my project with it because I'm always worried about glopping a big hunk of droplets on my project and ruining it. So that's what I do with my Wink of Stella. Next I have the Studio Katia Clear Drops Mixes 1 and 2, and I've gone ahead and picked out the ones that I want, and we are just going to plop these down. Now, I wasn't sure what the results were going to be with the Barely Art Glue, because this is, like I said, this is very new to my stash. I have a video, 2 videos ago, that talks about my adventures in Michigan and how I picked this up from Scrappy Chic. It was a little kit, and I was quite pleased because I had heard good things about it, and one of the things that I wasn't sure about was how it was going to dry, and you'll see at the end how it dries, which I was quite pleased about. So I recommend getting this. This is really nice glue. So you can kind of see how that glue dried. It's not too bad. And that is our first shaker. So on inside it says, "For being my friend." And then here we have the other one as promised. This is the one that you guys liked the most on Instagram, or at least the colors of it. And it says, "Thank you so very much for all that you do." So let me know in the comments below, which one did you like better? Did you like today's project better, or did you like the previous one that I did in the blue here? I'd like to know. And here again we have a picture of them side by side. Thank you for hanging out today. I appreciate you guys always spending time with me. And as always, take care.